Hi everyone, Morgie right here. I'm just making another, story time video, unscripted story time video. Just about something that I think a lot of people have issues with. I'm one of them for sure, and that is the sunk cost fallacy. Um, it's where you kind of, you know, put a lot of effort, put a lot of time, put a lot of money into something. And even if it's not right for you, you still keep pushing because you feel like all of that time and energy and money has been wasted and you don't want it to be wasted. So you just keep going, you keep pushing even beyond the rational ability to deal with it. But for me, that was my post-secondary education. Woohoo! And this is not a slight on post-secondary education. I think it's great. I honestly wish more countries would provide post-secondary education for people without cost, or, well, with covered by taxes. A lot of countries do that. The country I'm from does not, but we're not as bad as some other ones, so it just depends on the country you're from. But some countries do cover it for, I think, depending on the country, 5 years, or it's very inexpensive. My country's kind of in the middle somewhere. But the thing with post-secondary education is it isn't for everyone. And it gets pushed a lot by high schools for you to choose what you want to do with your entire life when you are 16, 17, 18. But sometimes the earlier you decide, they say, the better, because then you can, pick what courses would help you get into those courses in post-secondary school, like college or university. Now, I went to college. I went to community college, which I don't know what the equivalent is in some places, but maybe state colleges. And then there was also universities, and I did get accepted to some universities, but I didn't want the financial strain of that. And I didn't want my parents had saved up some money for me, but not a lot. And I didn't want to go into a whole bunch of debt. So I went to community college, and that was fine. That was a good fit for me. The college I went to was very good. I liked my time there a lot. I was there for 2 years. And I went into a course about law, trying to be very vague, not a whole lot of personal details, but law was my highest course in high school. So it was suggested to me by teachers in high school who were trying to, do what was best for me, trying to lead me down a good path. They said that, oh, you should go into law. You should become a lawyer or a law clerk or a paralegal. You should do something like that. And I just thought that was probably a good idea because that was my best course. I had the highest marks in it. I was a very good student. I had high marks in a lot of courses, but law was my highest because I really liked researching and I really liked looking up arguments and stuff. And so I thought that was a good idea. So I went and I applied to some universities and colleges and got accepted, but decided on a close by community college because I didn't want to move away from home yet because I was 18 and a little bit socially awkward, a little bit scared. So I didn't want to leave home yet. I know a lot of people do, but I was too nervous. So I stayed at my home and I commuted every day for about half an hour, and which was fine. And my course was pretty good for the first year. I enjoyed it a lot, learned a lot. It was a little bit more vague, and then the second year was a little bit more focused. Now, I was going through a situation where my schooling, the course I was going into, the career was becoming licensed. So the course was a lot more, it was in a lot of you know, there's a lot of changes going on in the course and a lot of bureaucracy was happening. And it made the second year a little bit difficult. And I felt bad for the professors because they were also in kind of this crazy period where courses were changing rapidly and they didn't know what they were doing because we had to have certain things to be able to apply to get this license. And it was a big mess. So I had a little bit of an issue with my second year. I did get through it. I graduated with honors, but I definitely had issues with the way things were run. And I don't blame the professors. I kind of blame the administration of the college, but I don't know how anyone could have won that situation because basically there was a change in the rules and everybody had to adjust very rapidly. And me and my course mates were kind of the guinea pigs for the change in the program. So that was a bit of an issue, but I graduated. I did very well. I was, I did good in my courses, and I went to go get this license that I had taken all these courses for. And I got the license. I passed the test. I got my license, and it required you had to pay money every year to keep your license up to date, and you had to do additional training every year to keep your license up to date. And that was fine, but the thing was, I applied to a few places in my course, and I couldn't get a job, as a lot of people I know who get post-secondary courses do. You try to get in your field, and you don't get a job. It just happens. It's unfortunate, especially because when you're in high school, they're like, oh, if you get post-secondary, at least when I was a teenager, you get post-secondary, you'll get a job for sure. You'll definitely get a job. That's why you go to post-secondary and pay all that money, is you'll get a job in your field. And didn't happen. I applied to a lot of places and it didn't happen. I don't know if there was just a lot of competition in the market, or I didn't seem like a good fit. I am a very anxious, nervous person, and maybe they thought it wasn't a good look for where I was trying to apply. I don't know. I don't know the reason why I didn't get hired, but I applied to a bunch of different places. And I ended up finding an in-between job because I needed money. I didn't have a lot of school debt, but I have a little bit. And I wanted to move out of my house now that I was a bit older, of my parents' house, and go on my own. So I needed money. So I ended up getting a job at hotel housekeeping. And it was a fine job. It was very physically demanding, but it was a fine job. I liked my coworkers, and I was making an okay amount of money. But I was not making a ton of money. And this license that I had worked so hard to get, that I had paid so much money to get because I had to pay to take the test. And then I had to pay every year a reduced amount because I wasn't practicing, but I had a reduced amount that I had to pay every year. And I was paying it. And I was working at a hotel, and the time when I had to pay for these licensing fees was in the winter when the hotel business is a lot quieter where I was. And every year I was paying a significant amount of money to maintain my license for a career that I didn't even have a job in. And it was just to maintain my license, because if I gave it up, I would have to take the whole test again. I have to pay to take the test. I would have to pay like a renewal fee. It was a whole thing. So I didn't want to let it go, but it became 2 years I was paying it, 3 years I was paying it, 4 years I was paying it, 5 years I was paying it. And I was still looking for jobs in my field, but I wasn't finding any. And I also kind of found out that I had an anxiety disorder, and maybe law wasn't a great fit for someone like that. I'm sure, and that's not to speak against anyone who does work in law who has anxiety. I'm sure lots of people do, but I did not have the temperament for it, for what I was wanting to do. So then I was like, oh, should I go back to school? Should I get a law thing in something that's a little less hands-on, a little less directly working with clients and stuff like that? And I just thought about it, and I thought about it for a really long time. And I just thought, you know what? I am happy for the education I got. I don't regret getting the education I got, but I don't think I'm going to be doing this career. I don't think it's a good fit for me. And I let my license expire, and I had a big chunk of extra money every year that I got to use to live. And it was sad. And I had to tell my parents, and I apologized to my parents, and my parents are great. And they were just like, are you happy? Are you happy doing what you're doing now? We didn't want to make you feel pressured to go into a different career or get this post-secondary. And I'm like, no, you didn't pressure me at all. That's what I thought I wanted to do. And I did it. And it didn't work out. So I let it go. And I worked a lot of different jobs. I'm a very hard worker. I've gotten, all of my jobs have really liked me. I've worked at my jobs for extended periods of time. I no longer do housekeeping. I don't work at a hotel anymore. But all my jobs think that, at least they tell me, I'm a very good employee. But I do have some mental health issues, and the jobs that I prefer are not jobs where I am the leader. I'm not the one making the decisions. I am a very loyal employee, and those are the kind of jobs I would do well at. And I've decided that I'm okay with that. And the person I ended up with is okay with that. And like I said in my other video, sometimes it's like you feel like you're not fulfilling your whole potential. Maybe there's more you could do, but maybe you're also okay just being you. Maybe you're okay with just accepting who you are and being happy with that. And if I could tell my past self what to do, I would tell her, hey, do this. Like, you could have taken a different program in school, but if you did take the same program, that's great, because the education I got was good. I liked the education I got. I would not take that back. But maybe don't spend 5 years paying for a license that I never ended up using, and just tell her in the past, like, hey, it's okay not to pay for this thing you're never going to use. But maybe in another life I did use it. Maybe another timeline I did use it. But yeah, I just want to talk about that because sunk cost fallacy is a hell of a drug. It causes a lot of issues for everybody. And sometimes I don't regret my past, but sometimes I wish maybe I had been a little bit more confident in making a decision about what I wanted to do, or maybe, not been so worried what people would think if I, let something go a little earlier. But like I said with my other video, the mistakes you make, the failures you make, they're what decide, or who create, or wow. They are, this is why we don't do scripted. They are why you are who you are today. You grow from those things that you did in the past, and you change and hopefully become a better person. So I don't regret any of it, but, probably would have liked to have that money back, but it's okay. It's just, I was too worried about what other people would think or whether I'd regret it. And I didn't regret it one bit when I did finally make that decision. But anyway, that's all from me today. I just want to do another little story time of my history. But I hope you're all having a great day. And if you're not having a good day, I hope your bad day is over with soon. And thanks for chatting with me today. I hope this video helps somebody. If it doesn't, at least, I put it out into the world. Okay, bye-bye.